Today I want to talk about when hope feels exhausting. The weakness of my journey is the hope of it all. So let me dissect this a bit for you. Hope isn't always comforting. Sometimes it's exhausting. Sometimes it's safer to expect nothing than to believe for something and be disappointed again. And there are seasons where hope feels risky. It doesn't feel light. It feels like there's a risk with feeling hope. Like you're putting your heart back on the line again. And I'm sure you're thinking, if I just stop hoping, I won't get hurt, right? So you shut it down. And not because you don't believe in hope or believe in God, but because you're tired of the constant whiplash of being hopeful. Hope can feel dangerous at times when you've been disappointed enough times. You start protecting yourself and you stop expecting anything, really. You lower the bar so low that you barely even recognize yourself anymore. Does that sound like you? Are you doing that? Because I'm sure you know rejection hurts. Waiting hurts. Hoping hurts, right? Unanswered prayers hurt. So avoiding hope, it starts to feel like wisdom. But really, in reality, it's fear wearing a disguise. And the moment that you choose to feel hope again, that's when the fear starts to get louder and more intense. And then you start thinking, you start having thoughts like, what if it doesn't happen? What if you look stupid by trusting and believing and hoping for it to work out? And what if God doesn't come through this time around? What if I ruin it? What if they run away? And what if they find someone better? All of these things. Do they go through your mind as well? And then as soon as you feel that little ounce of hope, it feels like you're suffocating, doesn't it? It does to me sometimes. When I start to feel hope, when I start to feel like, oh, finally I see light at the end of the tunnel, I start feeling like I'm suffocating because I know and I'm expecting something bad to happen. Like it's too good to be true. I always have that mindset when it comes to hope that it's too good to be true. Do you think the same way? So remaining in hope is much harder than people think for people in our position that's been single for a very long time. It's not just stay positive. It's like a battle in your mind, like almost to the point where hope removes my peace. As soon as I start to hope for something to work out in my favor, to work out according to my desires, that's when I start to have a shield coming up and say, no, stay away, no, sabotage, or no, this is a lie, this is a joke, this is a trick. And that's where the battle in your mind, it starts to play tricks on you, right? And then you come to a point where fear, your thoughts about fear, it starts to make logical sense. And all of your past and your experiences is proof that your future will remain the same and that it won't change, and that hope is gone, hope is lost. And hope plays tricks on you because it forces you to trust what you cannot see. But what does God say about hope? In Jeremiah 21:11, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope." Not just a future and a hope. Also in Hebrews 11:1, it says, "Faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see." At the same time, it makes me think, you believe in God, right? Just like I do. I'm assuming you do. You're watching my videos because it's all faith-based. You believe in something you've never seen. Therefore, there needs to be a hope in there. Your faith is rooted with hope in God that you've never seen. So why can we use that same hope to the things that we desire in this world, that God says in his word that he can give to us? So if you can't see it, that doesn't mean it's not real. So Romans 8:24-25, it says, "We were given this hope when we were saved. If we already have something, we don't need to hope for it. But if we look forward to something we don't yet have, we must wait patiently and confidently." That's the part we don't like, waiting and still believing while waiting. And that includes hope. So in conclusion, yeah, hope can feel exhausting because it's asking you to trust God while everything around you is telling you not to. But avoiding hope or choosing not to hope for something, that doesn't actually protect you. It just slowly hardens your heart. That's where bitterness and resentment comes into play. If you stop hoping for the things that God wants to give to you, bitterness and resentment will start building inside of you. I know. I've had it for a very long time. I've lived with that for a very long time. And it's a journey. It's a wilderness. It's a journey in the wilderness. You don't need a massive unshakable hope today. You just need enough not to quit and not to dig yourself a deep hole and sink in that dark hole and remain there. Just don't quit on feeling hopeful, even though it's like a mustard seed size hope, just like your faith. Keep going at it, even if it's small, even if it's a shaky hope, even if fear creeps around the corner, because real hope isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to trust God anyway. So my hope in all of this is that you understand and you stay strong to keeping that hope at the same level as your faith. If you have faith in God, if you trust and believe in God, a God you've never seen before, then you can do that with hope as well for anything in your life. Whether you are disabled, whether you feel like you're not attractive enough, whether you are in a situation where you feel no one could ever be with you or love you or share life with you, then get rid of those thoughts. That's the enemy talking lies to you. Find that little ounce of hope. If you have trust in the Lord, if you have faith in God, you can have that hope too. And that's what I learned in my journey of I keep crushing hope every time it surfaces, every time I see light at the end of the tunnel. Like, oh, this is a potential. Like for me, I'm talking about finding a husband. When I feel like I found a good match or a potential prospect, I always try to crush that and say, no, it's not a potential prospect. And I will crush the idea. I will crush the hope just because I don't want to have that crushing feeling coming from hoping for something and it not happening. And that's what was the most painful for me, like throughout my 10 year of singleness, is every time I met a guy, went on a date, started to get to know him, I would crush that hope. I would almost like sabotage, you know? I won't call it sabotage because I really gave it my all and I was there, I was present, I was happy, I was engaged. But deep down in here, the hope of it working out, no, I was suppressing that. I was crushing it. I was like, if it works out, if there is hope, if, I don't know, it will happen. But there's no hope for it. I had no expectations. I was matching hope and expectation together. Hope means expecting, right? I did not want to expect anything. So I kept crushing that hope. I kept crushing that expectation. You know what? That behavior, it shows. You can feel it. You know when someone lives a life without hope. So for a long time, I was in that boat. And it was really hard for me to feel things, to allow myself to actually feel things, because I kept crushing that. I kept saying, no, that feels like hope. I kept crushing it. That's a long time ago. That's not anymore, just to let you know. I don't do that anymore. That's the journey of my singleness for 10 years, that wilderness season. I've learned a lot, okay? I've grown a lot, and now I'm in a very healthy place, very happy, filled with joy and peace. I'm just sharing with you my journey to where I'm at today, and I had to go through that realization of what I was doing with hope. And at the same time, for me, you can't have faith and not hope, or hope and not faith. Those two match together. Those two go together. So I always had faith in God, but yet I didn't know that crushing my hope was crushing my faith. Yeah, I learned a lot, and this taught me a big lesson, and I hope that if you're going through the same thing, it's teaching you a lesson. Don't crush the hope. Do not sabotage if you feel hope and a little ounce of, oh, this could work, or this might be it, or, oh, it's finally happening. Keep on going. Keep on going, even if it's a little mustard seed size of hope. Keep going. Do not allow the bitterness and the resentment to build inside of you, because it will make you waste a lot of years in your life like it has to me. Thank you for watching. If you learned anything, or if this hit home for you, please subscribe. It would help me greatly to grow my channel, to keep sharing my vulnerabilities with you. And if you think that this could help someone you know, then share my video as well. I thank you, and God bless you, and I will see you in the next one.